Welcome back to the Centre of Computing History. I'm here with Adrian. Say hello, Adrian.
Hello.
And why are we here today?
We're here as our weekend of portable computing. So we've got a little festival of portable delights to go along with our display. So this goes through, yes, the history of portable computing through the ages, starting here with the luggable.
Let's have a look at this display here. So tell us about what this first machine is then.
Yeah, so this is the Portico Miracle. It's believed to be possibly the only one. This was given to us by the gentleman who tried to sell them to the public. Actually quite a nice little CPM machine, but it was expensive and he couldn't sell any of them. So this is the one that he took round to trade shows and tried to sell to the trade people of the time and to the public. Well, it's just quite an interesting thing that just came into us one day from the gentleman who, as most people tend to do, played down his role in the history of computing. It actually works, so we've got all the boot discs and everything for it as well.
Oh, wow.
So might be one we actually do a video on at some point by itself. Put our gloves on and explore it somewhat.
You can get gloved up.
Gloved up indeed, yes. So then we move round to when computers actually became portable. So here's a little selection of our laptops. So try to be as fair as possible. We've got the first ever MacBook down here. Elsewhere in the display, down in our portable section, we do, of course, have the Macintosh Portable, which is a lot bigger than that.
It's a shame, actually, the IBM isn't available to open and close, because this is one with the
butterfly keyboard.
That's
yeah,
it.
Absolutely. So, yes, people were wanting to take around with smaller and smaller machines, but they still wanted a nice keyboard to type on. So they had one with this keyboard that just folds out as you open the lid, and it's very, very funky indeed.
Yeah.
And we have actually got a second one on the way now, so hopefully this one will be able to have out and people can actually come and use it. We did actually have a guy who came from Edinburgh just to see this
Oh, wow.
this IBM ThinkPad. They go very nasty as well. They've got this rubber coating on them that just starts to react over time. They turn incredibly sticky. And it's become a big problem at the museum now. How do we care for these machines in that they've got old nickel cadmium batteries? Some can't be removed easily. So that brings us neatly onto our little Asus, or as some call it, Asus. I don't know which one. So Korean, I believe. And this is one of the machines introduced us to tablets. So you would click the screen on top of the keyboard to have all your typing events, but it does actually have a touch screen there and a little pen in the side there. So that's quite a nice little machine as well. But we literally, when we got it, we noticed that the case was slightly splitting apart. So we had to open it up, and it has two batteries in it, and one of them had started expanding, as these horrible things tend to do. So it's become a real problem for us here. One of the reasons people go, why don't you want my mobile phone that I'm donating? Because we've got a nice representation of mobile phones without their batteries in, and we just simply can't do very much with a wealth of machines that one day are all going to split open because their batteries are all over the place.
Yeah, imagine an archive full of that, just exploding just time bombs, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we've thought of various things. We've got a shelf upstairs with a few things stacked out on it. We've got an iPad 1, and we've got Samsung's first ever Galaxy tablet as well, which is still actually working. So, but as you say, time bomb, we don't exactly know how long for.
Okay, so moving to the next one. I'm trying to get these pictures in, so there's not much reflection, which isn't as easy as it sounds.
No, it isn't.
So yeah, what do we have here?
So this is our little collection of PDAs. We've got loads of PDAs at the museum. PDAs people will be saying things like, why haven't you got an Apple Newton? And things like that. That's because it lives in our convergence wall over there. Very, very important machine, the Newton. There's some information about it up here. So, yeah, so basically a computer you could put in your pocket. So we've got the original Cyan organizer here, the Cyan 1, and just a single row of digits to use. But started on the way of expandable carts. You could buy cartridges, plug them in. They held spreadsheets, extra memory, that kind of thing, and made them really quite usable. It was replaced very quickly with the Cyan 2, which once again is over in the convergence wall. Perhaps we can go and have a look at that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll look over there just.
Then we've got it's fascinating things like we've got our Kyocera Refalo, I think I pronounced that right. And this was at the time when you could have everything in electronic form, so you could store your data, your addresses, had calculator functions, etc. But it also had a filofax. So
fantastic!
Literally had pages in there as well, so you could write your notes as well, and then either transfer them electronically later on, or not at all.
So you could be like a digital Dell boy.
Absolutely, yeah. It's another one of those machines though, so it's got this strange vinyl coating on it.
Oh, of course.
And it's just going ever so slightly sticky. And then we have in here, we've got our GeoFox. So this is one of designed by Satherley Designs, I believe, or the case was at least, down in Surrey and Sussex, one of the two, begins with S. And yes, so that is a really, really quite advanced PDA. It's almost computer-like in its functions. You can have basic programs and all sorts on there. You've got a little touch screen that you can move a little mouse character around. And I'd say, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then got a little Casio here, which just about scrapes into the realm of PDA. You've got games on it, and I think there's certain rules to PDAs, but basically it can play games, but it's not actually a games machine. It's got a lot of other typically PDA functions built in too. So that is quite a nice little interesting display.
Okay. Next on the lovely display
is... so yeah, mobile phones, and where are we going today with them? So we've got one of the very few UK mobile phones there, which is the Wiley Fox, which one of our volunteers was using until recently. And then pretty much today everyone's talking about wearable tech. Well, that's absolutely nothing new. We've got the Google Glass here, which of course anyone reads the story of the Google glasses, and you know, you put the glass on and you've literally got a display in front of your eye that can you know, give you a full web browser and everything else. But technology wasn't quite there, so battery life was a huge problem, and also I believe one corner used to get really, really hot where the processor is and could actually mark your head or something like that. Yes, you've got the digital or smartwatch here as we'd know it now, which could a lot more basic than today's smartwatches, obviously, but it could to some degree control what you're doing. Couldn't answer emails or anything like that. So that's our little display there, and it carries on really in our convergence wall.
Let's take a stroll.
Over here, so we'll take a little stroll. Of course, we've now got our big selection of mobile phones, and how everything used to be separate. So, camera on your phone, what's that? Instant camera, there you go. You've got your camera there.
Is a good one for the YouTube comment sections, though. How many people had at least one of these phones?
3 of mine are in there.
These ones.
So
I had a lot of these. I remember this one wasn't this one of the ones that it sort of had? It was like a form of internet, but it was more teletext based.
Absolutely, yeah. So
and tennis was a good game on it, from what I remember.
Brilliant, yeah.
That's my input anyway.
Yeah. So else here we've got the pager before you could send messages through your phone. I love how we've got the big Nokia at the back there, which was one of the first email phones, so you could send out your emails. But look at the size of some of these in here. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. But I love when they tried to make them small as well. So you've got this little Sony here with It's
Yeah, there we
earpiece, so
go.
it actually reaches round to your face before they had the technology that bent your voice. I think that's the right term. Yeah, and then what else we've got here? We've got our little notebook computers. So it's when things are getting a lot smaller. We've got Amstrad's notepad here. It's just things like Spellmaster and lots and lots of Scion machines. So up here is what I talked about earlier. We've got the Scion 2 next to the very, very important Apple Newton here. So, and then the rest of it is really what is now inside your mobile phone. All used to be separate. So cameras, TV, video cameras, music players, calculators, digital diaries, and all that jazz. So we've actually got a Scion 2 out here for people to actually use. If we take that off, we can actually
Should be able to see the cartridge slots here.
see the
shouldn't
little
we? There we
cartridge
go.
slots in the back there. So that's all very cool.
If
Kindles,
anyone
etc.
wants to see a fair representation of the Apple Newton, I can suggest they watch the clip of The Simpsons trying to use one,
Yeah.
and so pretty much sums up the. It's a good
think there'll be-
representation.
I think he's still here. One of the guys here yesterday was actually demonstrating the Newton and how it tried to recognise people's handwriting and failed miserably. We can just have a little look here as well. We've got the dawn of the iPhone. So this is the technology that literally led to the iPhone. So Sony's Magic Link, communicator and PDA. I mean, look at the size of that. You wouldn't want to carry that around with you too long. And then a development board for the actual iPhone there.
Wow.
And then, yes, we just finish off around here with some of our laptops and luggables that are on display.
This is by far my favourite.
Someone's got on there.
So the NASCOM, for anyone that doesn't know, was a kit that was available in the in 1977, and the cases for them normally cost. If you got a case that was made a third-party case for the NASCOM, it would probably cost you about, what do you reckon, a quarter or a third more than the actual machine cost?
Yeah, absolutely.
So people would just end up making their own cases out of wood or whatever skills they had, they'd use to make their own cases to save money. And this one, where they've sort of made it into a portable machine, is just, it's just heaven for me. Love it.
And we've got the Osborne one here, of course, which is very, very important machine. So this gives the first inkling where people can actually start to take their machine away with them. It's the right size to fit under a aircraft seat. But everything's sacrificed because the technology hasn't quite kept up. It's also switched off, I'm not entirely sure why. It's because it needs to use these big 5¼ inch discs. So storage hasn't kept up with the rest of the technology. So you can see the screen, which is a CRT screen, is absolutely tiny.
Try and get minimum flicker on here.
And it's playing some little game that Alan, one of our volunteers, found. It weighs about 14 kilos. Mains only, no battery. So, but you've got a place you put your extra disc down here. And it is the origin of the business term, the Osborne effect. So the Osborne effect is where you announce a product too soon before it's ready and people stop buying your previous product. And that happened with this machine. He announced, was it Adam Osborne was his name, I think. Basically, he realised what was going on with Compaq and IBM. He started to panic a little bit. Right, I'm producing a new machine, double the memory, it's going to be smaller, blah, blah, blah. He hadn't even got anything on the drawing board. So everyone just went, oh, well, I'm going to wait for the new one and stop buying this. So he went from making a vast fortune to almost nothing in under a year, I think it was. We can see here, so this was Compaq's first machine. As all the big story, they reverse engineered the BIOS from IBM on all that jazz. And then this one's only a couple of years later. And here we go. We're getting a lot smaller. So we're now using the 3½ inch disc.
Shows the speed of how things progress, doesn't it?
It really does. And here's the Macintosh Portable I spoke about earlier. But there is only 14 years between the Osborne there and this lovely little libretto, which is the full Windows system. It's suffering from brittle plastic syndrome. So basically the plastic's going incredibly brittle, and
sad to see.
It's starting to sad to see, but it's going to load Windows now. And the idea was you had a nub on the front to move your mouse, and then 2 buttons on the back for your 2 mouse buttons.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's your little, and there's the Windows system. Someone's opened up Paint. And you've got Apple with their iBooks, you know, they start to go for style rather than anything else. So we've got quite a large collection of these ones. The orange one's out because I like orange.
Who doesn't?
And then, yeah, we've got our grid machines here. I think the story one went up on the space shuttle. Then we've got the UK Tadpole, I think it was UK. It might have been UK designed and then went out to California or something. And then how can we talk about portables?
And the UK in the same breath without mentioning
Amstrad.
Wow.
So here we go, here's our Amstrad portable. Absolutely, shall we say, unique screen. Certainly not the best screen.
If you can't see it on the video, it's fine because we can barely see it in real life, so you don't need to adjust your sets.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be loading like Hangman here, but it's these discs start to get a little bit.
We've got the drive in the side just there.
A little bit older. Then we've just got our case here, so we've got an NEC machine from Japan. I think that's based on an Olivetti machine. I think Herman Hauser had something to do with that. Sinclair Z88, which, yes, another Cambridge machine.
Wasn't actually a bad
It's a great little machine. It's also, reportedly nowadays, the internet myth. It was a failure. It wasn't. It was a massive success. Then I'm sure Tony later on will be only too glad to talk about the Liberator that we've got in the bottom there.
And its links to the Dragon.
And its links to the Dragon, of course. And then, yes, there's another British machine underneath the Sparkbook. So there's plenty to see here for our little portable display that we've had going on. And I'm sure you're now going to go and look at some wonderful things and have them explained in far more detail in our exhibition.
Thanks ever so much for your talk through that, and we'll see you soon. Cheers, buddy. Okay, so we're here with Alex Brown.
Hi.
And Alex, what have you bought for us today?
My ridiculously large collection of Scion kit, basically.
Amazing.
So I have a selection of the handhelds here, the Series 3s and the Series 3A. I think that people remember those. A lot of people have a lot of affection for the Series 5 and the 5MX with their wonderful keyboards. But we've also we've got the Revo here and the Sienna, which are the smaller versions of the Series 5 and the Series 3.
Okay.
But we also have the industrial machines here, so we've got the Workabouts. So these were basically a different form factor of the Series 3A.
Yep.
They were mainly designed for use in industrial settings. So people like Marks and Spencer's would have them for stock checking or going around warehouses. I think I've heard of people seeing them in Waitrose car parks, things like that. You have the older machines as well. So we're going back a little way, back to sort of 1986.
Oh, wow.
So we have the Organizer 2, the 8-bit portables. This is back to some further back in time where Scion was. Again, these were rebranded for companies like BT and M&S for stock control in the 80s.
Sure.
And then the little sandwich machine here that not a lot of people know about. This is the Scion MC400. So this is the laptop that Scion made.
Yeah.
This is the first 16-bit machine that they made. Wonderful keyboard, cherry keyboard here. Not very great, to put it mildly, trackpad, absolute position trackpad, and an average screen for the time. A little bit too expensive for the home buyer and not enough features for the business, so unfortunately it flopped a bit. But it was a good starting point to go over to the Series 3, which was the next machine. So basically that is that miniaturized.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah. Further along we've got little bits of hardware. We've got all the modems here that Scion worked with Dacom over.
Yep.
Batteries, of course, because that's what they are. Over here, I've got a prototype of a machine. This is a series, it says Series 3C, but this is actually a prototype of a 3MX. So we've got an early board here You can clearly see the 2 meg of RAM on there.
Yep.
A flash, which is very unusual. You don't get many flash machines. And then the very large ASIC, which has the V30MX core and various other bits of glue logic. So this is an incredibly rare machine. Very, very honoured to own it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah. SSDs for various bits of software for the Series 3s. My focus is generally the Series 3s, to be honest. I love them to bits.
You can't tell.
I know, tell me about it. So you've got software and ROM, Monopoly, signed by the author no less, and various RAM and flash cards around the place. So yeah.
So what are these boards? These don't look period to me.
They are
so
not period.
What have you been doing?
What I've done.
So bring it up to modern.
Absolutely. So this, two projects I've been working on most recently for modern work. So this is the first one, and the design is here as well. So what we have here is a side drive. This is effectively a USB drive for Scion SSDs.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's a start of one. So what you do is you get your SSD, put the pins in, pop it on there, and using a small bit of software on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, you can dump the contents of the SSD straight over to a file.
Oh, wow.
Theoretically, you could also write to them, because the firmware will do it, certainly to RAM ones. For the flash ones, you need an extra boost converter for voltage to go up to 17 volts. But it's a start.
Yeah, definitely so.
It's a really good piece of software. I'm really, really pleased with that.
Yeah.
So that, alongside another bit of software that I have that dumps the ROMs from these, means that we have the MAME emulator. So this is MAME running a Series 3A, proper emulating the hardware. There's a 3MX emulator there, and then a copy of Horace running, because it's Scion, on another emulator 3A. So yeah.
Incredible.
The other project that I'm working on, which is bonkers, I'm beginning the process of rewriting the Series 3's SDK. It's quite a big task.
Yeah, slightly.
I was basically over Christmas 2023 reading through the documentation of the object-oriented side of the programming and was like, I don't like this. I think I might be able to rewrite this a little bit better. I only wanted to add a few features, but there's no source code, so I had to do it from scratch. And I did it in Pascal because I wanted it to run on DOS and modern operating systems, and I'm pretty much there. I've got a tiny bit more to write, but it does take the original files that define classes and makes C code.
Oh, incredible.
So that's the start of it, and then it's going to be going on to rewriting all the other little bits of software, and eventually, when I'm feeling brave, I'll rewrite the compiler as well, but that's a way in the future.
Yeah, one step at a time.
Exactly right. But that is it. That is basically what I spend my ridiculously small amount of spare time on. I love these machines. I still use a 3MX daily for writing and journaling, getting my thoughts out. I like the idea of having a machine that I can just put in my pocket that lasts for a month on AA batteries.
Yeah,
that means I can go outside, no internet connection, and just enjoy sitting and just only focusing on the thing that I want to focus on, which is writing, for example.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much, Alex. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Okay, we're here with Steve from Steve's Tech Shed, and well, what have you bought for us today, Steve?
It's a collection of more normal, probably slightly relatable PCs than a lot of the other devices, so a lot of Windows here, but definitely IBM, Apple and Toshiba. Everyone's slightly interesting story. But this is the first PC I ever used. My dad used to bring, not this exact one, but some models. We used to bring it home on weekends back in the early 90s. That's from 1989, the old machine I got here. 386, with its lovely gas plasma screen. And that's its carry case on wheels.
Is that? Oh, goodness me, look at that. So it's definitely portable, there's no arguments.
It's luggable. And that's the 386. That's the 486 version. Which seems to have died. I don't know why that's going. I don't know. For mistake or something. There's 486 version. So that came out a year later. That actually has crashed. Never even got it. There you go.
It's fine, everything's fine.
So that's actually, the screen failed with that and replaced it with a colour screen. So it's probably the only colour screen version of the road anywhere.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, 486 came out in 1990, but that came out, it was $16,000.
Really?
Which is $38,000 in today's money.
Goodness me.
That's quite scary.
Yeah, definitely.
That was often used as a portable server, when you'd use one of these in as the old client if you're out demoing something.
Yeah.
90s. This is the first ThinkPad that was an ultrabook, so trying to get thin, they took the drives out of it. So they did this like an IBM Discman. They put a lot of effort into making sure the keyboard still felt like a ThinkPad keyboard.
It's always reminded of kitchen scale, so.
Yeah, but it is a CD drive.
Right, there's your proof, it isn't scales, it is a drive.
This is a Toshiba Libretto that's more fashion over function, but gorgeous little thing from mid-90s, N75.
It's a lovely little thing there. Is this the one with the 2 buttons on the back?
Yes,
So you got
that's the mouse there.
That's it.
And this is key left and right button.
Good stuff.
That's a normal business machine, but it's just to show that long before Apple Mac did anything like 1-inch machine or it only weighs, I think it's 3 pounds, whatever that is, you know.
Oh wow.
Toshiba were long before, they were years before, so it's tiny. It's light, high performance. It's just to show that Apple aren't always first in what they say they are.
Yeah.
But to give them their credit, the PowerBook 500 series, that is the first machine to have a few things. First machine to have built-in Ethernet, first machine to have some modular bay with multiple things in it, first machine to have intelligent batteries. Could ask about students' health. First machine to have a trackpad, first machine to have stereo speakers, so that's the Japanese model, I'm not quite sure why.
First going on there, that's for sure.
There is. And then that's the other interesting one, where it's a bit more modern, 2005. But that's extremely tough, as in its name. It's a tough book.
Yeah.
So it is a tablet, a touchscreen tablet. You can turn the screen around, but that are frozen down to -10.
In the main hall.
It heats itself up and works up. You can drop it, you can drive over it, everything.
It's incredible, yeah, you've got to love a tough book, haven't you?
Bit of a different mix from the other things here, but a bit more relatable because it runs. I've got 98, I've got XP, I've got Windows 7, Windows 3. So
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. So is this a video of you?
that's the video of that machine. Yes,
Not bad. 5 minutes.
you see it's frosty.
Yeah.
It's actually.
The 3.8 is probably the best.
Oh,
It's
brilliant.
only 900 megahertz pencil, so that took a while to try and find a video for that.
Wait, once you go started in the back.
I'm syncing out, that's a video playing now. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Just so we can see it actually moving up after being, is it -10?
Yeah. But it sits there for about 2 minutes to warm it up, and then it boots up and it works.
Yeah, it's fine. Fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, Steve. I really appreciate you bringing that along, and it's great to see you, mate. Cheers. Here we are with John Newcombe, who you probably recognise from Glass TTY and so on. So, welcome, John, and what have you bought?
Cheers, Pete. Yeah, well, we obviously got a collection of laptops and early notebooks and things like that. But the focus is really on the one thing that was missing from these early machines compared to those we've got now, and that's the communications element. So, well, if you were lucky enough to be able to leave your office with a thing such as this, perhaps go to a factory or something, do an inventory, print off the inventory for the warehouse manager or whatever. Then you had to find a telephone and get that data back home, because there was no such thing as email or broadband or internet or Wi-Fi or anything like that. So what we've done, we brought a few telephones, we brought a few modems, which is what these things are, and we brought a small telephone exchange, as you do.
Is this what's flashing away in the
That's
corner?
what's
down there?
flashing around the corner, yeah.
You got to have your own telephone exchange, haven't you?
And so what we've got is these machines are connected, through these modems back to back-end services. So, for example, this one is connected back to a PDP-11 mini computer.
Oh wow!
Although I'm not sure the employee is particularly conscientious because they're halfway through a game of adventure. But you get the idea. They would dial in, send up their information, or they'd copy if it was going to press or something like that. I mean, some of these early machines were probably, they weren't really general purpose, kind of best suited to something unique. I know the German army used them for calculating trajectories of missiles and so on, and artillery and so on, rather. So, not, nice single-use applications. I suppose these early PDAs are similar in a way, whereas they were organisers.
So what sort of year were these organisers?
Well, I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Early 80s? Yeah.
But some of them were bespoke. They had the software in. And I mean, this is a BT branded one. These are Cyan 2s, but you can see that's a BT one.
Lovely stuff.
With a bespoke application for logging call-outs and things like that. But as time went on, of course, they became more general purpose. So this is a CPM machine. Comes with a rake of software. So what we got? WordStar, CalcStar, FreddyStar. Obviously, I made that one. But you know what I mean. They get all this stuff, and it's a really decent machine. Comes with it. You can get a disk drive, which is also battery operated. I mean, you don't see many of those.
Oh, I didn't realise it was battery operated.
Yeah,
Wow.
I haven't got the cable for it yet, but I'll sort that out. And the modem itself is battery operated as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lovely little acoustic coupler there.
Yeah. So we're actually in the forest at the moment. So if we go west, we might be able to. We're still in the forest, yeah. So we could spend a bit of time in that forest.
Yeah.
And then as we get to the newer machines, obviously messaging then started turning up in terms, through the data services like Prestel and so on. And that's what we've got going on here. So we've got an Amsterdam PBC 640, which is rather crazy, really. It's an unusual form factor, but
Let's try and get some of this.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Let's try and break it for
So we've got
you.
Private Eye there. We're just looking at some up-to-date news. In this case, from Private Eye. I mean they're only out once a fortnight, so obviously it's not today's, but I mean it's this week or last week.
But we can see the sort of.
I mean we can probably show it better on here. So if we move over to the Apple II, I'll swap sides with you. Move over to the Apple II. We can have a look at some more traditional news if you like. So we go to BBC. So these are dialed up over the telephone line into the telephone exchange and onto a back end service.
Got you.
And it kind of representing what would have been done at the time with no email, internet, and so on. It's the one big thing that's missing.
Brilliant. So it is really up to date. Like we got the Malta guys.
I mean, we've actually not internet connected here, so we're probably frozen at Friday afternoon when we arrived. But I mean,
but it's still a good example of.
I mean, if you did this outside of this environment, it would be up to date from this morning. So yeah.
So is this just a? Is this just a PDA?
That's a Sign 2 with a printer. It's a bit of a static display this because we've got a bit of problem with the printer at the moment. And we've got a few odd bits and bobs which we've just been playing around with this morning. But so it's really about that missing communications thing that back then it was pretty awkward for people. I mean, I've heard stories of people going into a phone box with one of these and a modem and to get their copy to the newspaper in time for printing.
Of course, So is that what this is? What, is this an HX20 with?
So this is an example, if you like, of the build quality of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. Bear in mind, this is 1981, 82.
It's a nice little display. That I like what you've done with that. It's really good.
Well, I laid it out on the desk to do some repairs, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So
that's a great idea.
Reassembling it, I thought.
Let me say,
yeah. So these are lovely. I mean, I was blown away when I was about mid-20s when these came out.
Yeah.
And when I saw one of these, absolutely blown away.
Well, it's sort of it's an arguable fact, but it's sort of argued that it's the first laptop.
I think they say first notebook.
Oh, notebook.
Because it's A4 size. I mean, that's a magazine look. It's. I think there were things out earlier. It may not even be the first notebook, but it's certainly one of the first.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant.
That's kind of it, really. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks ever so much, John, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
Okay, so we're back again with Adrian Graham, otherwise known as Binary Dinosaur.
Hello.
Hello, Adrian. And what have you bought for us, my friend?
What have I brought? I'm redefining the portable word. Because obviously, back in the 80s, you had genuine luggables, like the Compact, and you had things that were portable because they were in a bag. So, that is a Mac Plus in a bag. Therefore, it's portable.
So you could just put anything in a bag.
Yeah, I mean, apricot portable. Imagine taking that on a train.
Unbelievable.
Mind you, you couldn't use it on a train because it needed mains power. That's the one thing with most of these is they're mains only.
Well, you wouldn't want to leave them unattended, that's for sure.
No. So, I've never been able to get my hands on the original Compact Portable, which is the reason that Compact existed as a company. They were formed to make the original portable.
Okay.
So, this one is the Portable 286, which technically is the third one they made. It was the original Portable with a pair of 5 1/4 inch floppies. Portable Plus, 5 1/4 inch floppy and hard drive, like Dave's got over there. He'll be talking to him later.
Yep.
And then this one was a slightly faster processor, half height floppy, and hard drive hidden behind here somewhere.
Okay.
And they're also very susceptible to battery damage. So this one currently doesn't work.
Due to battery damage. Oh no.
Whoever had it originally stored it that way. The batteries at the back, when it outgassed, it went that way and then that way.
Oh no.
So the keyboard cable is in a metal tube that runs the length of the machine. Only that's been eaten.
Oh no.
Monitor mounts, one of them's been eaten. So you try cleaning it, the thing just disintegrates because there's no metal left.
Got you? Well, no.
Yeah. It does kind of work. We did a smoke test on it about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it crowbars, so the power supply is not happy, but hey, which way around do you want to go?
Oh, yeah, let's go down this way. Oh, the Pied Piper.
Again, redefining portable in that it's portable because it has a handle.
See if I can see the handle on the back. There we go. It's portable, ladies and gentlemen.
The idea was that you sat, not with a monitor sat on it like that, had it at work, working away, bell rings, take it home. It would run on a modulator, same as a VIC-20. So you plug it into your telly, it runs as 40 column in the modulator, 80 column in the monitor mode, 40 column in the telly.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got your portable experience. It had a keyboard cover as well. That's what these little holes are for.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Is it a good machine in general?
It's a 64K CPM 2.2, so same as all the other 64K CPM 2.2. But the strange thing with Semitech Microelectronics, who made it, is they were originally funded by the Singer sewing machine company.
Oh, okay.
So it crowbars nicely with all of these other cabinets that were called sewing machines, because that's what they look like.
Yeah.
Like your mum's sewing machine. So, next to that, you got a Snugger 3200. Yes, exactly. It's running original Tetris.
Oh, look at that.
Lovely plasma screen. Aside from the light down.
It's a shame the screen rate doesn't. You can still see it on here, thankfully, but.
The refresh rate would be awful. You might have better luck with the Osborne actually. But again, that's a 286 running DOS 3. It does actually have a 10 meg hard drive, which is failed obviously because it's
Yeah.
40 years old. The thing still works, so that's good. I didn't have to do anything to that one to make it work.
Oh, fantastic.
Next up, Osborne Executive.
Ah, because I filmed the one in the museum just not long ago, the museum's own exhibit one, and that wasn't executive. No, it was just so it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the executive.
Interesting to try and use discs then, 'cause I think these are OCC 1 boot discs.
Oh, okay.
Because these are CPM2s, double density.
Okay.
I know your Osborne 1 was single density, but you could get a double density board that limp printed onto the bottom of the motherboard. The executive runs CPM 3, CPM Plus.
So is this? I think I might have just said it wrong. Is this executor or executive?
Executive.
Executive. Oh yeah.
Otherwise known as the Osborne 2 or the OCC 2.
One of those things that you say wrong and then start convincing yourself
Yeah.
that it might be actually correct. But anyway.
The word looks weird in your Not many of these were sold because Adam Osborne announced them before they were ready at a trade show when he was selling the Osborne 1s. So everybody went, well, we'll wait for that then. If it's coming out next year, we'll not buy one of these.
Yeah.
So this came out, and the company went bust.
Schoolboy errors, eh?
Very, but I mean, it's got a name. It's called the Osborne effect. A bit like the Streisand effect.
So he's got a legacy, but not necessarily the legacy he
Not the one
wanted.
he wanted. It's a shame, really, because it's a lovely machine.
Yeah, they are. I've got a soft spot for these actually.
Like I said, 80 base, 2 double density floppies. It will read Osborne 1 disc, but a couple of other manufacturers. So you weren't locked into this one. You could take discs from other manufacturers, and this would read them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Then we got Portable 2, which is pretty much the same as the 286. Still a 286, but a bit faster and a bit lighter. A lot lighter, actually. According to my spec sheets, there's only £4 difference between the two, but when you're carrying them both, that one's dark matter and this one isn't.
Oh, is it?
This one was also destroyed by its battery.
Oh, really? Oh. Maybe it's just had more eaten away than the other one.
No, the battery on this one was mounted on the back of the CPU board, and it was a NiCad. So over the years, it's just expanded and dripped,
Oh.
and the metalwork was eaten.
Oh.
So it cleaned up. There's every chance it should work. I had to repair a couple of traces, but yeah. Next one. The M10 goes with the Tandy Model 100, so we'll skip that one.
Okay.
Plus, again, is non-marked portable because it has a handle.
Looks portable to me.
Well, it's not really, because the original 2C had an external power brick. You could run them off battery. The 2C Plus is American only, and they put the power supply inside.
Oh,
So you still need street power to run it.
yeah.
So Apple fans argued that it wasn't really portable for that reason. Now my favourite of the bunch, TRS-80 Model 4, which is capable of running 5 different operating systems.
Wow.
There's like 2 types of CPM, TRS-DOS, DOS-80, LDOS, and it's running Montezuma CPM at the minute, which allows you to configure either one of its drives as another manufacturer.
Oh, wow.
And you've got, I think it's 58 or 60 definitions for all the other different manufacturers. So you can say, drive 1 is a DEC Rainbow,
Yeah.
and then feed it rainbow discs and it'll read and write to them.
Amazing.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely so.
You do it with both drives if you wanted. The original Model 4, you could have 2 external drives as well. And it supports Amstrad 3-inch discs.
Really?
Yeah, as long as it's external. This one doesn't, because Tandy said, we don't want to impinge on sales of the real Model 4, so we'll take the 4-drive capability away from this one and only stick with the 2.
Yeah.
And it was designed, it's this shape, so you can pick it up and throw it in an overhead bin on the plane. The only reason it's that shape. But that's is my favourite.
Yeah, it's a lovely, capable machine
Let me
though.
get the Olivetti. You might notice a similarity here.
Just a slight similarity.
Yeah. So in 1982, 83, Kyocera, the ceramics company, thought
we want to get some of this laptop action, notebook action. So they released the KY85, Biotronic 85, which is based on a CMOS 8085 CPU. So good, battery powered for the win. It's a full battery powered machine. They thought we can make more money if we license the design to other people. Tandy were on the lookout for a notebook style machine. So they went, here, Kyocera have lots of money. Make us the Model 100, which became a journalist's favourite all over the world.
Is that what these scribbles are from, is it?
The scribbles are from the bloke who gave it to me. He was a business professor at Pocketful University.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I haven't cleaned it, because that's his life using the machine.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you, yeah.
Same with the floppy drive. It's all things that he used on a daily basis, so he travelled all over the world with it.
Oh, okay.
And
But yeah, it's the machine's own history, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't want to clean all that off.
proper pattern, really.
Proper pattern of that. Yeah, boy.
So Olivetti did the same thing. They said, well, we like that, but we want a hinged screen on ours.
Oh, yeah.
And Kyocera made this one, Model 100, and their own KY85. NEC bought the design and said, we can make this ourselves, we can put our own spin on this. So it's a slightly different shape. It's got more expansion options.
Can we see the back just again? Oh, yeah.
And this one, a bit like the Tandy, didn't have a video module that plugs in here, so you plug it into a monitor.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
It's big, but you can plug it in. The Model 100 one, I think, was a separate box that had a floppy drive and a TV output, monitor output on it.
Okay.
Found one for a decent price. That's those. Finally, Epson PX8, which you've seen other ones around. And there's PX4 there, which is the precursor to this one.
Does his one work, Chloe? We'll see. We'll get to Tony and we'll see what actually works.
We've all had some failures this weekend. But that's a CPM machine. So, because it's a CPM machine, therefore it runs WordStar. So, it's got WordStar 3 and ROM.
Oh.
And a really excellent keyboard. So, basic built-in, WordStar on ROM, and anything else you can get on the ROM you can plug in. And you can just sit there on a train and it also has a RAM disk underneath. It's 128K, count them, with battery back RAM. So this has its own battery.
Nice.
And the main machine has 4 sub-C batteries, 4.8 volts. And unlike the HX20 that you've already seen on John's phone, you can run this from the mains and charge the battery at the same time.
Oh.
The HX20 you can't.
No.
So that was a big advance. And obviously you've got all your supporting peripherals, all the printers, battery-powered printers, battery-powered floppy drive, which in the NEC's case was from Brother Sewing Machines,
I was going to say that looks a bit...
Brother Word Processor.
Yeah.
So it's a beautifully battery-powered design, takes 4 AA's. Tandy saw it and went, oh, we like that, we can do that too. So they painted them Tandy colours.
Okay.
And called it the TPTD. Tandy Portable Display. But it's the same thing, it's just a different colour.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much a lot.
Oh, fantastic. Let's just get the Epson printer on here. Oh, what have we missed?
This was the successor to the PC8201.
The starlet of the show.
Yep. Slightly bigger screen. This also runs CPM. And it does work, but I haven't tried powering it up all week.
Is that a monitor output as well?
It's the same expansion slot that the PC8201 has. I'm not sure what plugs into this one, because this kind of appeared and then disappeared, and not many people know about it.
Yeah. Is that clicking the machine or your hip? Do you want to look at? Oh, okay. I thought it was the monitor at first.
Standing up for 2 days. Yeah, I mean, this one does work. It's a nifty little machine, and again, CPM is wrong. External floppy drive connectors and things like that.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thanks ever so much, Adrian. And as always, we no doubt see you again soon.
See you in November.
Here's Stephen Usher. Nice to see you back. And back again, as always. And we're very glad to have you. So, what have you brought with you?
Right.
This time?
Portable computing as it developed through the 1980s, basically. We start off early 80s with transportable computers.
I'll get it out of the light. Yep.
So basically, they're a normal PC, except that they're designed with the ability to pack them up,
Oh, look at that.
put the keyboard on, clip the keyboard to the
Get
bottom.
the reflection out the way. That's it. Yeah, got you.
Everything's got a handle, so it just makes it easy to put it together. We've got two boxes to take into your car and to go to the other office and do your work remotely. This is an Apricot XI, again, as I say, 1983. Innovative in that it's the first computer essentially outside of Japan to have 3.5-inch drives.
Okay.
The very first 3.5-inch hard drive, 10 megabytes. A few years ago, Apple said, we've got the touch display for on the MacBook Pro, the touch screen.
Yep.
1983-84, you've got essentially the same thing. So we could go around and it will change. I want SuperWrite, word processor. Starts up SuperWriter, and now the function keys have got different functions on them.
Oh, nice.
So that's basically Act's first self-built computer, the Apricot. It was only later that they renamed themselves Apricot because it was a nicer name than ACT. Going a couple of years later to the Apricot Portable, or FP, and the very first 640 by 200 LCD display. The first one on the market anywhere.
Oh, wow.
So, as you can see, it's not a brilliant LCD display. It's very hard to read, which is why I've got the overhead light here. But it does work. It's definitely usable.
Yeah, certainly.
The machine itself goes into a hard case.
Oh, so this is the case Adrian Graham's got under,
Yes,
his desk. Yeah, I got you.
So the keyboard goes in the top here. The computer goes down with the screen facing downwards.
Yep. It's a nice design, actually.
It's light enough that you can lift it onto, going to a train.
Overhead luggage. And that.
Overhead
Yeah, got you.
luggage.
Yeah.
Other innovations, you've got a wireless keyboard and, in quotes, mouse, which is actually more of a trackball. But if you tip it forwards, it then reverses so they can use it as a mouse.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those things where something you can do, but why?
Yeah, it's very true.
Basically, if you're like that, then you'll get RSI within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
These two machines are MS-DOS,
Yep.
but not IBM PC compatible,
Okay.
which is a good thing and a bad thing in a way. Good thing is that because they're using a different architecture, which is more akin to, say, the Z Spectrum or 8-bit micro, where you've got a flat memory space, where the high memory is only used for the graphics memory, which is bitmap graphics, and some environment variables. You've got far more working usable memory. The I/O is on a different address range. But the downside of that is it's not IBM PC compatible. Yeah. Also, it means that if you're doing text, it's slower to update the text because the CPU is doing that rather than a dedicated graphics card.
Yes.
Moving on 5 years later, we have the Macintosh Portable, which is Apple's first attempt at a, in quotes, laptop. You can really tell that it's a first attempt because, well, not only is it big and bulky with a lead acid battery, but the power management circuitry is, let's say, dangerous to the computer.
Okay.
First of all, if you go to shut the machine down or go to sleep, it only reduces the battery usage by about half because half the machine is still operating.
Wow.
Secondly, the power charging circuit is very, very unstable. If you have a bad battery or you look at it wrong, it will send 12 volts down the 5 volt line, destroying the machine.
Yes.
And the hybrid chip there, which is management, is essentially a fiberglass sheet with carbon printed on to be the exact resistance required to match the capacitors that are also on there and transistors. Trouble is, with age, they oxidize, change the resistance levels,
of course,
and bye-bye machine. So yes, but anyway, we've got here the first active matrix display. I've got a screen, a light in front of it because otherwise, it's okay, but it's not as easy to see. It's no backlight on it.
Can we fold the screen down just so we can see, because it looks quite
got-
shallow there, but now...
I've now got the back off. Everything clips together, by the way. This was where the original hard drive would be. I've got a SCSI replacement, modern replacement in there. But otherwise, the battery is here. Lead acid battery weighs about, well, probably about a pound or 2 pounds. Everything clips together. It's designed so that this face here can unclip. You unplug the keyboard and the trackpad, swap them over, plug them in, and then you've got a left-handed machine.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
There's a slightly later version with a backlit display, a very slightly safer power system.
Just slightly.
About 2 years later, Apple went to Sony and said, we want to make a better machine. So Sony re-engineered. The PowerBook 100 is essentially the same machine as that, but Sony threw out the power control system, put their own in, and they shrunk it down. So it's actually in the size and shape of what you would expect to be a laptop.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's not a laptop. It's
not
it's a portable machine that can run off batteries. So you've got within 6 or 7 years the difference between transportable and almost a laptop.
Yeah. Yes, a nice little example actually. That's a really nice display.
Well, you can see how in 5 years display technology has advanced.
Yeah.
That's usable just about.
Yeah, you've got to remember as well, people are looking at this for hours each day. So it looks all right now, maybe for a minute or two, but your eye strain's going to be off the charts.
It's not flickery, so it's not actually too bad if you have the light in the right position. So we just bring up a wide processor here, and the actual things on the screen are not too bad.
Yeah, actually text is a lot clearer than what there was before. Good stuff.
So that's about it, and these are actually more portable than a lot of the other machines in the room, or more luggable even.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks ever so much, Stephen, and we'll see you soon. Cheers, buddy.
Bye.
We're here with Dave Williams, otherwise known as Devilish Designs. Devilish Designs online. And what have you bought for us today?
I have brought basically machines with amber displays. That's my theme for the setup. So we've got 2 IBM portable PCs from 1984, and then we've got 2 grids with gas plasma displays.
Beautiful.
And 2 Toshibas with plasma displays.
Fantastic.
But we're going to ignore that one because it doesn't work anymore.
Well, that's brilliant, Dave. Thanks for bringing them along, and we'll see you on the next. So the grids are just lovely.
Yeah, we'll start with the grid. That's grid case 3, so this is 1986. It's an XT class machine, so an 8086 processor, 640k of RAM, and floppy drive, and it's currently running Spock, which is the Space Shuttle onboard computer software. So this is actually flight software.
Oh wow!
NASA would have flown on the shuttle. It can only do basic bits because it needs that big black and white peripheral to connect up to. But at the moment, it's just tracking the shuttle and some other unknown objects.
Oh, great stuff. That does look amazing, actually.
Yeah. I love just the glow of the amber display.
It is, yeah. There's something about the amber. It's just, it's so pleasing.
They are the best displays.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
And this one is a completely stock PCXT. So this was IBM's answer to the Compact Portable. So the Compact machine was the first PC clone. With it being a portable, it sold really well.
Yeah.
So IBM was like, oh, we need to do this. So to do something quickly, it just got the standard desktop motherboard, slapped it in a case, standard cards, got them in there, standard floppy drives, whack a display in it, keyboard, job done.
Nice.
So there's nothing fancy about it, no batteries, no batteries on any of these.
Thank God.
They're heavy enough as it is. Grid did do batteries for these, but they would take about 4 hours to charge and last about 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
So, not great. Next we've got a Toshiba 286. So this is about 1987. It's 1 meg RAM, 40 meg hard drive. Running Gem Desktop at the moment.
Yeah, nice machine.
Yeah, these were really popular. So the gas plasma displays were popular in the late 80s for the high-end machines. Just because it was the best technology for the best contrast, low light conditions. So it was just that sweet spot in the late 80s where they were popular. Then TFT panels came in, matrix displays. Meant you could have a good display and have batteries.
So what's on the next grid? What's the difference between the grid machines?
This is the size of 81, so this is a 286. It's a CGA display, but it can have 400 pixels. So in Windows and certain other programs, you can get more information. It's backwardly compatible with CGA. So it's running Microsoft Word at the moment.
Okay.
So in fact, all of these machines have got Word on.
Okay. Wow. You said we're not allowed to talk about this, but we might as well just mention. Let's give an honourable mention.
This was working wonderfully yesterday. I was playing Monkey Island on it, Windows 3.11 running beautifully, and this morning it came off for about 2 minutes, and now the display's just dead. The machine boots up, you get hard drive activity, but other than that, it's completely dead.
I just noticed it's got a combination. I love
Few
that.
people-
I've not noticed that feature on any of them before.
It's the only one I've seen with that on.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's security for you. Who needs finger tags or biometrics when you can use that?
Yeah. And this was actually Toshiba's high-end machine at the time. So it was a 386DX, and it was a mobile workstation. So it's designed so you have full-length expansion slots in the top and half-length at the bottom. It was the best panel, so it was VGA, still amber display, but you had 16 shades.
Take your word for it.
But it's got one really unique feature you don't see very often, in that you could take it to your office and whatnot, but if you wanted colour, you could basically connect it up to a VGA monitor, externally CRT, and if that was in the way, you could just remove it
Oh wow!
and have your CRT in front of it. Or you could get the colour screen, which is a dual scan colour. You know, swapping that from there, you want colour, just drop the new display in, and off you went.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then this is just another PCXT running Wolfenstein.
Just.
Yeah.
It still is playable-ish.
Yeah, Wolfenstein was originally written for the 286 and a VGA display. But some of these recently modified it so it run on this. It loads.
Loads. I think loads is a very good word there.
Yeah. Yeah. The frame rate is. Yeah.
It loads.
Yeah, there's a rate of frames.
Oh, that's fantastic, Dave. Well, thanks ever so much for bringing these along, and as with everyone else, hopefully see you soon.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, mate. So here we are with John Brown from Retro Brights. Hello, John.
Right.
Retro Bites, not Brights.
Right, yes.
Yes. So, what have you bought for us today?
Should we start with the expensive stuff?
Let's start with that.
Right. Probably the most expensive laptop I have ever laid my hands on.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so this started at $21,000 a laptop. So that was the initial price for these things. It is the laptop version of a SunSpark workstation.
Unbelievable.
I got it doing its little party piece of pretending to be an Apple Mac at the moment. Hang on, let's.
So this is 21,000 before you add that disk drive to the sides.
Oh, that part did come with it.
Oh, okay.
Just no expense spared. SCSI floppy disk drive.
Oh, there you go.
Why use a floppy drive connector? Go SCSI.
Oh, 21,005 quid then.
Yeah, you'd expect that. Unsurprisingly, one of the biggest customers with the US military at that price tag.
Yeah.
Which is why the case is made out of a magnesium alloy. It's not plastic.
Oh, wow.
It also sort of acts as a heatsink to the laptop as well.
Yeah,
Well, so you could drop it and your 21 grand of laptop would still function afterwards.
Yeah, there was a grid machine that was similar, wasn't there? I think it was from 82-ish.
Yeah, so it's a lot earlier than this one. So this is the later sort of follow-up version, which is 97.
Okay.
And they had versions going back into sort of early 90s. And they Tadpole did their thing was do expensive Unix box in laptop. So that's the Sun one. There's an Alpha book that's a DEC Alpha, and with IBM they developed a PowerPC based one to run AIX. One of them just sold on eBay for a disturbingly large price.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, I want one of them. Oh, I'm not paying that for that.
I'm all right with the one mortgage.
Yes. So I brought some of its party tricks with it, like the Mac application environment for Unix. So Apple released a whole version of its operating system to run on Sun machines and HP UX. So it's all recompiled for Spark, and there's a dynamic recompiler for 68K code, which is what the apps run in.
Oh, fantastic.
Recompiles it back into Spark and runs it, which means that the fastest Apple, officially licensed by Apple, was a Spark machine. It runs 68K code, a fair hair faster than like an 040 Mac.
Beautiful.
So, gotta love that. And then we get down to the slightly more pointless end. The Atari station is mad. I love it, but who thought an Atari ST should be a laptop?
With a
with screen is
with a clip
notes in.
You got a note clip holder there.
Yeah, so it's a business
So it
machine.
can cover the volume and the brightness controls.
Yeah, the screen. It's not that the screen's died with age. It was just always this awful.
Yeah, just to the viewers, your eyes do not deceive you. This is better. It's probably.
It's looking better on the phone.
I think it's better on phone than it is.
Yeah, I've seen with the contrast better than my eyes do. But if you move the mouse quickly, oh look, it disappears. Because the LCD can't actually update quick enough
Unbelievable.
for it to move. I mean, the graphics system can, but the LCD is awful. And they designed this to have batteries. It's going to be portable runtime. They tried it, they got 15 minutes runtime on 7 kilograms of battery.
Wow.
So they thought, we're not putting batteries in it. Did they redesign the case? This is an empty void back here. So this laptop is this thick, so it could hold the batteries that they then didn't put in it.
Brilliant.
Did they redesign the case? Nah, screw it. They'd already spent way too much money on this thing anyway.
Because these go for an obscene amount now as well. They're almost like folklore sort of
Yeah,
machines,
they
aren't
really
they?
can go for,
again, disturbing amounts that I wouldn't pay for one, but it's a mad laptop. You can't run a single game on it, it just turns into like grey squishy nonsense. You can plug an external monitor in though. And then you do have an ST you could play games on. But yeah, the idea was you'd run business software on it, but mostly it ended up being running the likes of Sibelius because it's still got the MIDI port. So if you're a musician on the go, it's a pretty good solution for that. But that's not a huge market.
No, exactly.
I mean, they had the ST book as well. Let's have another pop at an ST laptop. I suppose it's a better pop an ST laptop, but it's still terrible.
Yeah.
And then we have Commodore's attempt at a portable C64. So we have a C64 board in here. One of those 15 whenever floppy disk drives. Little CRT.
Yeah, but how can you not love?
Yeah, well...
And it weighs a metric ton.
Yeah, it's a proper boat anchor. I mean, you can see the warning on the thing for this.
Okay, so here we are, You guys do take care of me, look. Pete, this machine is not for you. My poor little back giving out every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, John.
It's not your friend. But we got a surprisingly nice CRT. So I don't know if you can get an angle so you can see how flat it is for a non-Trinitron CRT.
Yeah.
But this is the original one. It's really quite bright and nice for... Yeah, so you've got the controls to... Yeah, that's probably getting a bit nicer for the camera. We also had the volume control for the sound. You still got your whole SID in there.
Nice. Yeah, a very lovely machine this is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love the fact that they were always advertised as next to a swimming pool. All the marketing for a thing that's permanently connected to the mains and has vent holes directly above the high voltage board for the CRT. Great thing to put near a swimming pool. You were never going to die.
No, not even slightly. It's safety first always.
Oh yes.
So what we got left?
Oh, we got a luggable PC, but not from the normal period of luggable PCs. Yeah, it's this company, Dolce, and they made what were fairly high-end machines for the time. So this is dual Pentium 150.
Oh, wow.
So 2 processors, 128 mega RAM, SCSI controller directly on the motherboard, and it'd take PCI and EISA and ISA cards. But other companies would buy them and make products with them. So this company made a network sniffer. So it booted DOS, but it ran a packet sniffer application that could use the second processor. And there's an accelerated FDDI card in there that runs the EISA slot. So the idea of it being that if you had a telco that was using FDDI, you could plug in and do real-time analysis of jitter and delay on packets, and see how well the telecom network's performing, and see what's going on the voice side. But it's 1994, so it's quite hard to do that sort of thing. So this is why you've got this luggable beast. There's no batteries in this. It's pure into the mains. It's a server motherboard in there, basically. It's a fairly regular PC, just, it's got a handle and the world's nicest keyboard. Because you've got a fully switched keyboard, which is why these are stupidly hard to find, because people buy them to take the keyboard and then put it in the box.
Yeah. It breaks your heart.
Well, yeah. So yeah, they're becoming rarer and rarer because people are just nicking them for the keyboards. It's quite disappointing, really. But yes, this one's alive and intact and has a new back panel that's not completely smashed.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Yeah. It turns out, although people would bin the boxes, they got them and you could get the case parts on eBay. Someone was selling a back panel. So it's like, oh, cool. Get myself a back panel. We also have what was a desktop LCD screen rather than a portable one because they didn't have to worry about the power draw.
Of course, yeah.
Surprisingly good LCD panel for the time.
It is really good.
Because there's not much in the way of smearing a delay or other problems. They kind of cracked it for desktop screens by then.
Yeah, definitely.
If you had all the money. But this was not a machine where they were worrying about hitting a price point.
Okay.
Yeah, the price point they were going for was it's expensive, so what?
Yeah.
It's a server with a handle. Yeah, I've taken the original SCSI drive out because it is the loudest thing in the world.
Oh, really?
It's one of those quantum fireballs, so when the arms park on the rubber bumper inside, they glue to it.
Oh,
So each time you power it up, it's like, no, fire it up again, no. Oh, the arms moved, excellent, right. we got a machine. So yeah, this is the SCSI to SD for the show, so it was, reliably turn on, rather than just be looking like panicked and having it fail.
So like last time, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant, John. Thanks for bringing them along. And as always, it's great to see you. We'll see you soon, my friend.
See you later.
Okay, here we are with the wonderful Andy Toone. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great stuff. Right, well, please talk us through what you bought.
So this is perhaps the oldest item that anyone's brought this weekend. This is a calculator from 1970.
70?
It marks the start of all of this, really, because at the beginning, in the 1960s, 1970s, the industry wasn't thinking about programmable computers, it wasn't thinking about handhelds, it was thinking about business calculators. That's where the money was. And so Intel and Texas Instruments and General Instruments were all chasing the calculator market. And this is all, and to make calculators cheap, it was reducing the number of chips you needed. So in 1969, 1970, General Instruments hired 4 guys in Glenrothes in Scotland to design the first single chip calculator.
And that's what this is, the first ever single chip one?
Yep. So this was all about getting things as small and cheap as possible. A single chip meant you were only manufacturing one device, saves a load of money. They also save money by not having a mechanical keyboard, but a stylus instead. So the way this is designed, the PCB goes right under the keyboard, and this is gold plated to make sure it works properly. And then they have just 4 digits for the display.
Wow.
So these are individual vacuum tubes, 4 individual vacuum tubes. And this works like a normal calculator. To get over the limitation of only having 4 digits, there's a special button that swaps between the high bit and after the decimal point. So it's effectively 8 digits.
And it's not, I mean, I know they were hitting a thing, but it's not really any bigger than what came in the 80s, 90s, so on.
So this is a NiCad battery pack behind. It's good for a few hours. And this at the time was a breakthrough. So I think the price was about £400.
Wow.
Which, in today's money, £2,500, £3,000
Yeah.
for a calculator. But at the time was a breakthrough price.
Yeah, well, it's probably 400 quid in gold.
Well,
maybe not quite.
So, along with this, so what this is sitting on are the original drawings, the design diagrams for the chip. So you can see all the layout of the silicon, shaded for different layers. These are the pads around it. This is all hand-drawn in offices in Glenrothes in Scotland. And corrections were done by putting tracing paper on top and tracing over which parts of the circuit needed to be changed. So this is the original design drawings for the chip. Wow. And we also actually have a wafer from the original manufacturer. So these are, each one of these is one of these chips. If you've got an optical microscope, a desktop camera sort of thing, you can see the individual gates. They're very big by today's standards.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a very digital calculator. The chip on here is date marked November 1970. It arguably beat the Intel 4004 to market by about a month.
Wow.
But technically, whereas the Intel is a microprocessor, this is a microcontroller because it has everything on one chip. So it's got RAM, ROM, and the CPU all on one chip.
Incredible.
And these microcontrollers, General Instruments carried on developing them and selling them. Eventually, General Instruments became Microchip, and today they sell the PIC microcontroller, which is arguably the great ancestor of these chips.
And that's where it all started. Well,
And this and the competition to reach the calculator market was where all the money went into designing these early CPUs that then suddenly exploded into home computers, programmable machines and so on. But it started here. And it progressed incredibly rapidly. So in 1971, just a year later, they released this, which is effectively the same chip. Slight change in the ROM, but it's effectively the same chip. They could suddenly manage 8 digits and a proper calculator keyboard. And it looks a lot like what we would recognise as a sort of a calculator. But this is just 12 months apart. And this sold in millions. This is an absolute fortune for the company. Early 70s, and then of course by the mid-70s, it had gone from a thing that businesses spent thousands on to something that was just tens of dollars. Casio and Sharp came in from Japan and started selling cheap and valuable machines. And these guys disappeared almost overnight. They never made the transition into computers. They were so calculator focused and they just disappeared. So we don't recognise the royal written name in Europe. It's also in Rome with the Roger calculators. But these guys were they ruled the roost briefly in the 70s and were where all the money was. So this is the start of personal computers.
incredible. All right, well, that's the start of the show. We might as well just shut the video off now. Oh, I love that. So what have we got moving on then?
So we've got various other bits and pieces. We've got Commodore were in there with Mostech, so they produce a range of programmable machines. This is just a rather random mid-late 70s, I think. Sinclair got a lot of publicity for his pocket calculators. He didn't actually design the chip. This is a standard Texas Instruments chip, so there was no real innovation there. But what he did do was he managed to make them small and run off a small battery. So the big problem with these calculators is they used a lot of power. They needed big batteries. Sinclair realised that the Texas Instruments chip, if you switched it off and left it off for a few milliseconds and switched it back on again, it would remember where it was. So he designed a circuit that switched it off, waited a bit, switched it back on again, switched it off, waited a bit, switched it back on again, and did that constantly. So it saved 90% of the power needed to run the chip. So suddenly, instead of having to have a big battery and therefore a big calculator, you could run it off just a single PP9, PP3 battery.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Small.
When you think it's such a simple idea, but obviously someone had to come up with it and implement it first.
So those Sinclair didn't actually innovate. He didn't invent the calculator, or he didn't make the chip. He did come up with a way of making the most of it. So that was
Definitely got his part in history, that's for sure.
And then we got later machines. We have shops. I have a complete fondness for this candy bar design. It's a 4-bit CPU designed just to run minimum power. So the other solution batteries was making them slowly. So if you compare this to a modern processor running at 3 or 4 gigahertz, this is running at 256 kilohertz. So like a sponge to this, but it ran BASIC. It had a simple BASIC that you could program it in, and this came with a nice little printer. This is a Radio Shack TRS-80 pocket computer. It's actually a really bad Sharp. So Sharp sold this in Japan. It's the Sharp PC1211, I think. And the guy who ran Radio Shack went to them and said, right, I can sell 100,000 of these if you can give them to me cheap and rebadge them for me. And that's what he did.
Job done.
He was very successful with those. Then we can move on to this is so this is early 80s, and the Epson HX20 is early 80s. And that's interesting because it's a technology demonstrator for Seiko Epsons.
Okay, yeah.
So they were experts in miniature design. They made printer mechanisms, miniature cassette mechanisms and displays, and they wanted a machine that showed off everything they could do. So they designed this, which has, at the time, this was a unique graphical LCD. Their best tape. Unfortunately, I don't have the tape mechanism for this, but I do have the printer. And this was sold, advertised as the first laptop, and yes, it was the first fully portable machine. But they didn't know what to do with it really. The big problem was they had no model for what a laptop should be. So if you switch this on, the two options it gives you, that's probably when you switch it on, the two options it gives you is a machine code monitor to directly program the CPU, or Microsoft Basic. The rest is left to you. So this was kind of, they didn't know what a laptop should do.
Yeah, but you've got to start somewhere.
And in the end, this was used a lot in vertical marketing. It was used for things like stock taking.
Okay, yeah.
I believe the German military used it for managing missile control. Anyway, some weird thing for that. So it's used a lot by non-technical users in places like warehouses and things. So there's lots of them around still, but very, very little documentation, very, very little software.
What are we moving on to now, Andy?
So this is the Atari Portfolio. It's an interesting little machine designed in 1989 by a company called DIP Research Limited, which they claimed was stood for Distributed Information Processing Limited, but actually it stood for David, Ian and Peter, who were the founders.
I like it.
They made this nice little 16-bit DOS-ish computer, and which they later licensed to Atari, who sold it as a portfolio. And it comes with a load of expansion connectors, so you can connect it to printers and serial things and so on. The interesting thing about this machine is that it was it was briefly in the Terminator 2 film.
Oh, okay.
It was the handheld device that John O'Connor used to hack an ATM to get money. It was presented as a cool hacking device.
Come with me if you want to live.
But in reality, it is a nice little DOS computer that you can use as a nice little handheld, very cute little device.
Yeah.
Quite interesting for its time.
Nice. Are we going to move on?
We'll talk about Microbeast more recently. So we've gone from 1970 all the way through to present day. This is 50-something years later. We're still playing with 8-bit chips. This is my computer kit, the Microbeast. This is an 8-bit computer that you can build yourself. You can solder it all. It's through-hole components, so it's quite easy for someone to solder. And it basically is a nice little CPM machine that you can use to hack and develop and expand. And it all comes in one nice little box with all the parts. And especially for this event, this is now battery powered. So because we're talking about portable, I just wanted to show that yes, this will run off the battery. It
is a lovely kit, I've got to say.
Well, we're shortly adding to things, so I'm hoping in the next few weeks to be able to properly announce a proper charging circuit, so you can use batteries with it and charge and so on. A SNES controller adapter, so you can use a controller with it, and a few other new things that we're going to talk about sometime later in June. So there's going to be a little bit of news where we have
exciting stuff ahead, that's for sure.
Some new projects and expansions for this that should hopefully be quite interesting.
Were any of them my suggestions? Well, let's just say they all were.
Every time I come here, somebody comes up with something new. So already this weekend, we've added one more project that could be quite exciting, but we'll announce something
Look
in
at
due
he's
time.
the
So there you
biggest
go.
tease I've met, this man.
There
Well,
you go.
thanks ever so much, Andy. It's always a pleasure, mate.
My pleasure. Cheers.
Now we're here with Tony Jewell, also known as Here Be Dragons, and also one half of the amazing Short Circuit.
And who's the other half?
Well, some donut, I don't know. We'll get to him one day.
Yeah.
So what have you bought for us today, Tony?
I have bought lots of things, but
There's a lot of calculators.
they're not calculators. No, they are more exciting than calculators.
Are they though?
They are. They are pocket computers. This is the first pocket computer, the Sharp PC 1211 from 1980. Ta-da!
1980, wow.
1980.
Didn't realise that.
In its little dinky printer thing up here. And there's a whole range of things. Sharp made a world of this. This is the very first one. This is a 4-bit processor. This is 1983. We've got an 8-bit weird Sharp processor. 1985, we've got a Z80-based system. This one's rather cute. So you imagine you got this, you might be going around the laboratory or whatever, typing in numbers or something. You bring it back, you slot it into that, you do a printout, save your data to the most adorable little floppy drive. And there you go. Now, I have a sad story to tell about these things. These machines had batteries in them, and so that, they're battery powered printers. I took the batteries out because they were leaking. What I didn't realise is those batteries are integral to the circuits of the machine. So when I plugged in the power supply is expecting to see the batteries there, the voltage is too high, and it's blown both of them up. So there's a moral of the story. Do not just remove batteries from things until you know what they're there to do.
But thankfully, there's some more calculators. No, that is a shame. That is actually a very good moral for people to
understand
think about.
what you're doing, absolutely, which I didn't. I should have asked, when I asked in the Sharp community, they went, oh yeah, we should have told you, don't remove the batteries. Cheers, guys. Moving along, so we've got more of these. So this is the most recent one. They stopped making these in about year 2000, and that's the last one.
Okay.
It runs C. Okay, what's going on here? So, what is going on here? 1982. I was a young lad. I wanted a computer that I could take on the bus to school, write my little games, then come home in the evening, plug it into the television, and see what they look like. So I wanted a computer that could do that. And this is what I've got now.
Can I just shift you to one side because we can get a bit? Look, now we can get the full on effect.
So this is the HP 70. Oh, which one is this? 75C. So I've got this. This is a portable computer. I could unplug this and walk around with this. I could write my games on this.
Yep.
I could come home, plug it into the television. I could save my games on the little dinky tape machine. I could print out the listings on this. And I would try and explain to my parents why I had spent £1,962 on a computer in 1984.
Insane.
Yeah, this is the price of, a top-end MacBook.
Is this the video output? Is that all that lump in the middle is?
That lump there, this is a lump for driving plotters and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's this.
Sorry, I was wondering about what the lump was, and it's just dawned on me what you said. £1,962.
1,000. Yeah, that's what this cost.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Sorry, now we can move on. Now I've digested that.
This is the world's worst computer. Back in 1982, I really wanted one of these because it was here on the cover of your computer, October 1982. And I thought this would be my perfect computer. It's got a little display, which means I can use it remotely. I could do my stuff on the train. I could plug it into the TV. 40 years later, and at considerable expense, I managed to get hold of one of these. Ooh. And let's have a look. So I can turn it on. I can run little programs on it. But I can't plug it into the television because there's no sockets. Not only that, I cannot save the program I've written because there are no sockets. There is no interface to the outside world on this machine. It will have its one program in here until the 4 AAA batteries run out, and that's the end of it.
Wow.
It is absolutely useless. Pretty, but useless.
Unbelievable. Did they even come up with an explanation? Like, What was it? Did they even have a market?
I don't know. I think it was for kids or something, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't think even kids would.
Yeah.
Now, where are we?
Now, New Brains. Well, this is a Link level 1, but it's basically a Grundy New Brain. And this is a portable that isn't portable. So here's the brochure from 1980, when they were still being made by Newbury Laboratories. Here it is with the Newbury name on it. And you'll see on the front cover here, we have a busy executive on the train typing away.
Yeah, there's a lot of trains involved.
There's a lot of trains. There's the guy in his Jaguar using it here. Guy in the laboratory, all this. Now, I've discovered that they're all holding a wooden mock-up. Because they never managed to make this machine portable. That was the plan, but they ran out of money to develop the low-power chips and the special custom circuitry that you would need to make it portable, like the HPs or the Sharps. So they never actually released a portable one. This is their only real attempt at making one of these portable, which is by adding this giant battery pack to the bottom. But the only machine that ever used this battery pack was this, which is the Link Level 1. This was sold into pharmacies, and it's for pharmacy stock control. And this doesn't have a video output, so it would never have been able to connect to a TV anyway.
There's actually a video, isn't there, online? Maybe Lucas, if he remembers, can put the link in. But there's a very good video of seeing it.
Yeah, it's a lovely little
working.
clip of it working.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Oh, a great display of things that are
not calculated.
Thanks ever so much, Tony.
Okay,
Pleasure as always, mate. Ta-ra.